Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 53 of the Dear Herbalist Podcast titled Herbal Preparedness, Navigating Uncertain Times. If you are new here, welcome. And if you are a returning listener, thank you for your continued support. Now, I don't know about you, but there's definitely something strange going on in the air. We have a lot of political unrest, medical mistakes, and shortages in areas that we have not seen before. Now, while some choose to sit in fear and do absolutely nothing, feeling hopeless, others are preparing for what's to come, at least trying to soften some of the blow. So today I wanted to talk to you about preparedness from the eyes of the herbalist, because I feel that it's an important topic that's not talked about enough. Most people, when you try to talk to them about preparedness, they often brush it off and say, oh, you're fear-mongering. But it was the same disbelief that caused those hundreds of thousands of people to come running to Noah's Ark, only not to be let in. So no matter who believes you or who is watching the signs of the times we are living in, we have to prepare. We as herbalists must educate people on how to prepare to survive. Whether they listen or not, it's not really on us. They were at least warned. And once they are notified, given the tools or tips, then we have to move forward in our own preparations. And at that point, move in silence. Why is it important to talk about preparedness? The main reason is because once people perceive that they are in danger, or that they won't have what they need in order to survive, then they will begin to do whatever it takes to ensure their survival. And that includes taking what you have, and in some situations, it could be taking your very life. So preparedness is very, very important. And today I want to give you some tips on how you can prepare as an herbalist to help you stay ready so you ain't got to get ready. Those that know what I mean. All right, so let's just dive right into it. Tip number 1. Be the watchman on the wall. Pay attention to the signs of the times. Know the difference between fear-mongering versus true signs of potential trouble. Now, let's look at some of the differences. You want to be skeptical of sensational news, because sensationalist media and unverified social media posts often exaggerate. You want to look for evidence, right? Because real threats are supported by data, maybe some sort of expert analysis, while fear-mongering relies on emotional stories. You want to verify with multiple sources. So cross-check the information across several reputable sources to ensure it's accurate. The next thing is assess the context. So genuine threats come with clear explanations and reasonable advice, unlike exaggerated risk from fear-mongering. And then the other thing is consider the motives, because fear-mongering often aims to manipulate for gain, whereas genuine warnings aim to inform and protect. So know the difference while you're being the watchman on the wall so that you don't get caught up in the fear-mongering wheel, because if you feel or perceive at all that it could be fear-mongering, in your brain, it's going to be like, this isn't that serious. And so you want to assess all potential threats, all potential situations. And if you look at the economy today, you'll notice that the prices of everything has gone up, yet wages have not. And that is a true sign of potential trouble. This means that there could be people turning into survival mode. This means that they might not be eating as healthy as they should. They may, get 90% of their food from Family Dollar versus, going to a health food store or, eating something local, right? Which can have severe impacts on their health. And they also might not have access to certain medicines anymore because maybe their health insurance costs have risen. And they're like, you know what? I can't even afford to insure myself, let alone, worry about medicines and all of that, which, people tend to need because they don't know the power of herbs yet. That's why we're here. But then also, because of all of this, people's stress response could rise due to these uncertain times because they're not sure what's going to happen, but they feel the effects of it. So don't just focus on what is being told is the issue, no matter who's giving it to you, but think deeper into all that, all the implications of what is being said, and then what can happen as a result. And then you move on to the next step, right? So once you kind of get an idea and get a picture of what's going on in the world, what's really going on in the world, the next tip that I have is tip number 2, which is do not fear. In the scriptures, fear not or do not be afraid is written over 300 times. Now, fear is a normal and often helpful emotion, but it becomes a problem when it is too much, too frequent, or it disrupts your daily life. Chronic or excessive fear can harm mental and physical health, and this is the reason why. The stress response, okay? Now, fear triggers stress hormones like cortisol and adrenaline. These are useful short-term hormones, all right? But if they are consistently used or your stress response is consistently activated, they can become harmful to your body. Next, you look at anxiety disorders. So extreme fears can develop into anxiety disorders affecting daily life and well-being. Avoidance behaviors. Fear can make you avoid certain situations, limiting personal growth as well as opportunities. You'll be too afraid to go out. You won't accept that job because you're like, I don't know, in that area, they said there's a lot of civil unrest or potential civil unrest. I don't know if I want to go there. But obviously that could be a position where you could grow, but you won't take it because you're afraid. Ongoing fear can lead to health issues like heart problems, a weak immune system, and digestive issues. Fear can also impair rational decision-making, leading to poor choices or indecision. Severe fears can cause social withdrawal, hurting your relationships and your support networks. Fear of failure or rejection can cause behaviors that make those outcomes more likely. You've meditated on it so much that it's become your reality. Persistent fear can lower overall happiness and life satisfaction. Chronic fear can affect concentration, memory, and other cognitive abilities. And in times of survival, you need every ounce of your brain to think, to see, to perceive, to know what to do. And so chronic fear can affect these things. And then the other one is excessive fear can make it hard to manage your emotions effectively. And if you are an emotional basket case, in times of survival, you are going to be in trouble because there are times where emotions are needed, and then there are times when logic is needed. And in times of survival and preparedness, you need logic, not emotion. All right. Now, my third tip is have a plan. So sit down and write down all the possible scenarios where preparedness is necessary. Take the notes from what you've gathered, being the watchman on the wall. Okay. Take some of those notes and then create a plan of action around them. Write down the supplies that would be needed. You need to get some maps of your local area, including the forest. Know where your local waterways are. So if you need to access water, you can actually have access to it. Know where your local springs are and where you can get free water because they are out there. Then pinpoint places on your state or city map where you can find the necessary plants to make medicines in case of an emergency. So during your preparedness planning stage, you want to go and look for these things. You want to get your maps. You want to note these things. You want to actually go to those areas and see what local plant flora are there. Collect a little bit for yourself. You don't want it to be a situation where you're trying to rush and go gather all this information when the stuff hits the fan, when something happens. Oh, shoot. Now I got to figure it out. I got to go see, okay, now where did they say I can get some water from? Nah, you want to prepare ahead of time and know this information ahead of time. Okay. And make it fun. Get your family involved. Okay. Get those navigating skills out there. It's very important. Okay. But pinpoint those places where you can find the necessary plants to make the medicines that you'll need in case of an emergency. And once you know where the medicinal plants are, now you can start to make and organize your herbal medicine. So you want to consider things like inventory and storage. So keep a detailed list of herbs and supplies. Store herbs properly to keep them safe, fresh, and effective. Rotate your stock so that you can maintain freshness. Then you want to go into knowledge preservation. So document your herbal formulas, your methods, and how you use them. Create a reference guide so that you can easily access this information. Okay. Build relationships with local growers. Learn to identify sustainable harvest of local medicinal plants. And then consider growing some of these key herbs in your own garden. As far as the herbs are concerned, focus on multi-purpose herbs. Make long-lasting formulations like tinctured and dried herbs. Learn to preserve fresh herbs. That's very important. Then, as an herbalist, you want to stay updated on herbal medicine and first aid, as well as CPR. Can't forget that. Learn to make basic herbal preparations and understand how to safely substitute herbs. If you have herbalists in your community, connect with them. Okay? Participate in knowledge exchange events. Consider forming your own local herbalist group to talk about these things. And make sure it's people of like mind, not people like, I don't really believe all that. I ain't trying to hear all that. Okay, well, you don't need to be a part of the group. We don't need that. We don't need that. We don't need that type of mindset, right? You don't have time for that. Make sure that you understand where you can safely forage for foods and vegetables and things that you might need, medicines, right? Make sure that you know so you don't get in jail and now your emergency situation is you need bail money. So be careful for that. Okay. Keep essential tools for herb preparation. Consider non-electric alternatives. Make sure that you have a first aid focus. So develop kits and knowledge for common emergencies. Include herbs for immune support, wound healing, and stress relief. Okay. And develop skills to improvise based on available resources. Again, stay ready. You ain't got to get ready. And all you English professors, don't come for me. It is a term that those that know. Now, tip number 4, okay? Gather the necessary supplies. This includes local flora manuals, herb formulation charts, first aid kits, herbal first aid kits, food, water, and etc. In a preparedness situation, you should have these necessary supplies, okay? For herbs and formulations, you need your dried herbs. Okay, make sure you have some versatile herbs like chamomile, peppermint, echinacea, and ginger. You need tinctures, okay, alcohol-based extracts for longer shelf life. You need essential oils for aromatherapy and topical use. You need powders, so you can create your own herbal powders for teas and capsules. You need salves and ointments for wound care and skin issues. Okay. Now for storage and preparation, you need airtight containers to store dried herbs and prevent moisture. You need amber glass bottles for tinctures and essential oils to protect from light. You need labels so that you can clearly identify what it is as well as its expiration date. If you have one, a vacuum sealer would be great for preserving your dried herbs. You need preparation tools, so you need a herb grinder for making powders, mortar and pestle for manual grinding, cheesecloth or fine strainer for straining your tinctures and infusions, a double boiler for making salves and ointments, measuring cups, spoons for accurate dosing, and then some first aid supplies, so your bandages, gauze for wound care, alcohol and hydrogen peroxide for sterilizing wounds, herbal first aid kit. Okay, we talked about what to have in there, some yarrow, some comfrey, some lemon balm, right? Then you'll need some educational and reference materials. So your herbal reference books, comprehensive guides to identifying and using herbs. You want to have a couple of those so that you can cross-reference. Any type of digital references or resources, okay? Online databases or apps for quick information. You want to have some personal notes, and that way you can document your formula, your preparations, as well as how you use them, kind of like I said before. And then as far as sustainable sourcing and cultivation, you want to get some seeds or seedlings so that you can grow some of the essential herbs. You want to have some gardening tools to plant and maintain your herb garden. You want to have a dehydrator or a method for drying freshly harvested herbs. Okay, some protective gear is important. Water filtration system is definitely important so that you can ensure that you have clean water. All right. And these will help you effectively respond to various health needs or emergencies depending on what the situation might be. Now, this that I gave you is not an exhaustive list, but it can get you off to a good start. Of course, as you're doing your notes, you're being the watchman on the wall, you're paying attention to the signs of the times, you're thinking about your own situation, maybe potential medical issues you might have in your family or tend to deal with more frequently. Then you want to adjust your preps and things that you need based on that. Okay, if you have somebody that has blood sugar issues or things like that, then you want to make sure you have those herbs on hand that can address those specific issues as well as the other herbs as well, because you just never know what you might deal with. But if you're prepared, it's better to be prepared than to not be prepared and sitting around looking like, oh, shoot, what are we going to do? Again, don't do that. Stay ready. You ain't got to get ready. Now, let me give you some bonus tips that you might not have considered. Number 1, develop skills in wild fermentation. This can help preserve herbs and create probiotic-rich preparations when refrigeration is not available. Number 2, learn to make herbal charcoal. Activated charcoal has many medicinal uses and can be made from various plant materials in the case of emergencies. So know that, especially if you've ingested harmful materials, herbal charcoal can definitely benefit you or your children as well. The other tip is create a portable distillation kit. All right. This can be used to make essential oils or hydrosols from local plants when commercial products are not available. Another tip, master the art of herbal vinegars. These can serve as both medicine as well as food preservatives for long-term scenarios. And then the last bonus tip, I should say, develop a system for rapid plant identification using the least amount of tools. This skill can be crucial when field guides or technology is not accessible. Okay, so find ways to be able to quickly identify the plant using association or whatever technique that you feel would best benefit you, so that you can look at that plant and say, oh, I know what it is because of the shape of the leaves, or this, I know this because it looks similar to the eyes, or it looks similar to the kidneys, these type of things. So try to find methods of association that you can use to quickly identify plants as well. So in conclusion, as herbalists, our role in herbal preparedness goes beyond just stockpiling herbs. It's about cultivating knowledge, skills, and resilience. Remember to stay vigilant, avoid fear, plan thoroughly, and gather all the essential supplies that you're going to need. By developing unique skills like wild fermentation, herbal charcoal making, and rapid plant identification, we can be better prepared for any type of situation that we may face. So stay informed, stay prepared, and most importantly, stay connected to the healing power of nature, because it will be there for you in times of trouble. Thank you so much for listening. And if you like what you heard, please like, share, and subscribe. Follow me on all of my social media platforms at The Demystified Herbalist. Also, if you're looking for a comprehensive preparedness guide, please go on Amazon and check out my book called Survive. It has over 200 herbs in there that can help you with survival. It talks about how to hunt, how to forage, how to purify water. I mean, it's a jam-packed book on how to survive. It's a must-have book that you have to have in your backpack, in your herbal preparedness kit, because it will give you recipes on how to make your formulations and all of that, so that you know how to survive. Not just how to survive catastrophic events, but also how to survive in life when you're dealing with mental health crisis, all other type of issues that you could deal with is in that book. I go step by step. I give you the formulation. I give you the remedy. I also give you the herbs that you can use, as well as the local herbs that you can use to address those issues. So pick up a copy of my book, Survive, today. You can find it on Amazon. And until next time, family, I'm out.